Hey, Shalom Yashala. First and foremost, I want to say that I'm making this video through the power of Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Um, and I'm making this video not only for the brother who's been responding to my videos. He's been watching my videos for a while, at least some of my videos for a while, because I remember him making a comment probably 6 months ago or something like that. And his name is Southern Kingdom Israelite. And I was originally making a comment to him, responding. So I was making this comment to you. Everything that I'm saying now, I was actually writing this to you. And then I went up because I was looking at what I had said before, and I looked back down, and my whole comment was gone. It was like a few paragraphs. So I'm salty. I am so salty right now because I put a lot of work into it. But anyways, I'm just gonna make a video explaining it because I don't want to write it all over again. I feel like if I were to talk about it rather than write it down, it will go much faster. But I'm sorry because I kind of lost my thought and all that stuff, with that comment. So it sucks, but I'm gonna try to talk about everything that I was talking about. So in the comment, you reference. Okay, so you said, Daniel Kwame Ashala, yes, I agree that the Most High will have mercy on Israel, but mamzers, bastards, are not Israelites. Israel has very strict rules for dealing with mamzers, biracial people, and paganism and idolatry in ancient times included interracial mixing. No, I have never seen it in the scriptures. Like, if you can show me a scripture where interracial mixing was considered idolatry or paganism, show me that, because I'm not, and don't get it twisted, I'm not trying to battle you, or this ain't no battle of egos or pride or anything like that. I'm really trying to edify you with the understanding that I have got, not from myself, but from elders, and coming through the power of the Most High. Slacky. So, anyways, sorry about that, my cough and everything. But yeah, I'm trying to edify you, and if you can edify me, because trust and believe, if you have anything to teach me, and it weighs out, I will consider anything you have to say. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I'm the king of this hill, and nobody can teach me, because best believe I'm a babe. Like, I'm always a babe. The Bible, the scriptures tell us that we're supposed to be as a babe, and that babes will enter into the kingdom of heaven. So basically, I'm open to listen to any brother, that believes that he has the gospel. I'm here to listen. But anyways, so if you can find that in the scriptures, please show me, because idolatry is referring to people who worship idols, and that's the same thing with paganism. Those are people who practice idolatry and worship different idols and pagan religions. And then you brought up Baal worship at Peor, Numbers 16, 41, 50. And First Corinthians. Well, okay, we're gonna go with Numbers 16, 41 through 50. That is referring to them. Yeah, Baal did worship, do idolatry and all that stuff. But when Numbers 16 through 41 and 50 is talking about the rebellious Israelites. It's talking about the rebellious Israelites that were tempting the Most High. And you even read in there that the Most High told Moses and Aaron to separate from the people, because remember, he destroyed them with fire. And remember, the other rebellious Negroes, I can't remember if they were, I believe it was a chapter, before with the other rebellious Israelites, and I'm not sure if they were practicing idolatry, but I don't think they were. Remember, he opened up the ground on them, and they fell through because of their rebelliousness and them not having faith. So the Most High destroyed them. And 1 Corinthians 10, 1 verse 1 through 13 is making reference to that. So, um, that's not that's talking about tempting the Most High. Um, Basically, that's what it's talking about. That's basically what the chapter is talking about. Tempting the Most High. Um, Let me go over here to 1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 13. Because there was another meaning behind that. Excuse me. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to read it to you. To show you guys. I'm going to break this down for people who don't know what I'm talking about. So it says, moreover, brethren, I would... Dang, I wish I had my glasses. I have my glasses on. Okay, so moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all of our fathers were under that cloud. Under the cloud, and all passed through the sea. It's referring to Israel's exodus, them being in the wilderness with Moses, and that we were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. So there it goes. And did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Hamashiach, or Jesus Christ, for some people. But with many of them, God was not well pleased. Talking about the rebellious people and the ones that were turned to idolatry, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, because Yahweh was making an example out of them, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were, because, and see, what this is referring to, lusting after evil things, because remember, I can't remember the brother's name, but remember, he wanted to take on Moses' spot. He wanted to take on the duties of Moses. He wanted to communicate with the Most High. He wanted that communication, that same communication, or that same connection that Moses had with the Most High. They wanted to take that on. And remember, the Most High destroyed them because of that. So that's what it's talking about right there. And also it's referring to idolatry, not only idolatry, but turn towards wicked things and being evil, having hatred, because they were jealous of Moses. But many of them, God was not well pleased for. Okay, that's where I'm down here. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them. As it was written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. Wait, am I even reading? I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. Neither let us commit fornication, for them that committed and fell in one day 23,000. So this is talking about all those men who were killed. I believe it's talking about the men who were killed when the earth opened up under them, or was it the fire? I can't remember which one it was, but it was thousands of people who were killed by the fire and who were killed by the earth opening up on them. Neither let us tempt Christ, because remember, they were tempting the Most High. This is why they were destroyed. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. So basically, he's saying, don't let us not tempt Christ, because some of them also tempted, referring to the people that were destroyed out in the wilderness, the thousands of people that were destroyed in the wilderness, because they tempted the Most High. So yeah, that's okay. So also going down, neither murmur ye also. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I cannot read right now. I'm so tired. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured. So it's referring to them that were they were murmuring back then. Let me pull this up, because it's in Numbers 16. Let me pause this real quick. Hey, sorry about that. I should have read the precept first. But it's referring to number 16, and y'all can go ahead and read this because this is exactly who it's referring to, because they were murmuring in this. Okay, so let me go back to Numbers. Okay. No. Sorry, 1 Corinthians. So anyways, where was I? Okay, neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, referring back to Numbers 16, and were destroyed of the destroyer. So it's talking about all those people who got destroyed back in Numbers, the ones who were committing idolatry, the ones who were basically hating on Moses because of the connection he had on the Most High. Because remember, they wanted to take on his job. They wanted to take on his job, and the Most High destroyed them because of that. You know, they weren't doing that out of righteousness. They were doing that because they wanted to be in Moses' spot. They were jealous of him. So that is what those two scriptures, that's what those two passages are referring to. Okay, so okay, so he says, one, in Israel, both smitten people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. See, this is why the Most High does not want us to mess with other races. I'm going to break this down to you. The reason why the Most High doesn't want us to intermingle, and there's many scriptures out here that talks about us intermingling with other races. Let me first read this. There's a reason. The Most High does not want us to mingle with other races of women and men. Is because we will turn our backs on the Most High. It's right here, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 3. It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. This is why the Most High does not want us to take on their daughters and take on their sons. It's not because they will become bastardized through flesh. And we know that, you know, the nation of the child is determined by the father. So if you do happen to make the mistake of messing with a white woman, an Edomite, then yeah, you will your children will still be Israelites spiritually, but they're not bastardized because of their flesh. They will only become bastardized by turning away from the Most High. Just like in Romans 11th chapter, I believe. I'm gonna pull it up where it talks about the wild olive branch, and the reason why they became bastardized, the reason why they became that wild olive branch that broke off and became the wild olive tree, was because they turned away from the Most High. Not because they mixed with other women. It's because they turned away from the Most High, and they became bastardized that way. They did not become bastards because of them mixing with other women. We know that the Most High does not want us to mix with other women because we will be tempted to worship their gods. It has nothing to do with flesh. You know, me having a biracial child, for example, even though I don't, me having a biracial child, and now since he's half white and half black, he's no longer Israelite. No, that's not it, because I think you're trying to say that Latinos are not Israelites because they're mixed. They're bastardized because they're mixed. No, they're bastardized because they turned away from the Most High, just like any African American who you know are Israelites, right? When they turn away, like, I'm sure there's someone in your family who's not an Israelite, you know, or who does not believe that they're Israelite, and they are Christians, or they don't believe in God at all, or anything like that. They worship idols or pagan religions. They are still Israelites. For example, like my sister, for example, my sister that's a year younger than me, she don't believe in God at all. but she is an Israelite. Why? Because we have the same father who is an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the flesh. And I'm going to go over to Numbers to show you that the house, that your nation is determined by your father's house. Your pedigree is determined by the house of your father, not your mother. But still, we should not mingle. I agree. We should not mingle with strange women because that will turn us away from the Most High. But my point in saying this is that I showed you, Ak, in the video that I did the other day, that Native Americans are Israelites. They kept some of the commandments that the Most High told us. They even had the commandments here written, so they kept it. They kept not all of them, because not even today, not all of us African Americans, even when we were in Africa, we didn't keep the commandments. Not all of us kept the commandments over there, because if we did, guess what? We wouldn't have went into slavery. But anyways, so I read Deuteronomy. I'm gonna go over here to First Kings. We'll go over to First Kings, chapter 11, where it talks about King Solomon. This is further proving why the Most High, and there's many scriptures out there talking about us going into other nations and why we shouldn't. But King Solomon is a good example why we should not mix, why we should not take on strange women. It has nothing to do with bastardizing our kids, not at all, in the flesh. It's because we will become bastardized spiritually. We will turn away from the Most High. So 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 1, it said, "But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites." Remember, King Solomon's grandmother was a Moabite. I believe it was his great-grandmother was a Moabite. So if we become bastardized through mixing with strange women, when Israelite men mix with strange women and their kids become bastardized, how was King David, King Solomon, and even Yahushua, who goes through that paternal lineage, how are they still Israelites? According to the way you believe, that we become bastardized by mixing with strange women. No, that's not the case. The reason why they're not bastardized is because, say if King Solomon turned away, or King David, or even Boaz, who is King Solomon's great-great-grandfather, who was not of a strange woman, even if he turned away from the Most High, he will be considered a bastard. He will be considered a Gentile. A Gentile was basically any Israelite that turned away from the Most High. It has nothing to do with the flesh. The reason why King David, King Solomon, and even Yahushua were still considered Israelites is because they kept the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. They did the will of the Father, which was spoken of, I believe, in Matthew chapter 7. They did the will of the Father. This is why they're not bastardized. But people who turned away from the Most High, I don't even have to marry. See, this is the thing, I don't have to marry a strange woman to become a bastard, to become bastardized, to become a Gentile, to become that wild olive branch. I mean, to become that wild olive tree, that broken off branch. I don't have to marry a strange woman to do that. All I have to do is just turn away from the Most High. All the black people, all the black Americans that you know, that are not worshiping the true God, who's not keeping the will of the Father, who's not keeping faith and good works with the Most High, and keeping His law, statutes, and commandments, which is basically the will of the Father, guess what? They are all wild olive branches. And I'm going to get to that later. Trust and believe. But anyway, so Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. All of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them. Referring to Deuteronomy, also referring to, I believe in Ezra. I can't remember what chapter, but also talking about Ezra and many other chapters in the Old Testament. I mean, many other books in the Old Testament. He told us not to go into them. Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come unto you. For surely they will turn your hearts after their gods. See, That is the main point of the Most High not wanting us to go into these other people, because they will turn us away from the Most High, and we will become that branch that is broken off. The branch that is broken off is not necessarily talking about a group of people. Yes, it can refer to a group of people who turned into, like the Greeks. Sorry, like the Greeks that Paul went to go and teach. Remember, he said they were the brethren, and that they were their fathers. In 1 Corinthians, talking about their fathers were the ones who passed under that cloud, passed through the sea. Remember, Paul, he was talking to the Corinthians, who converted and lived the culture of the Greeks. This is who Paul was referring to in that scripture in 1 Corinthians. He was talking to them. He was talking to all the Israelites who turned away from the Most High and took on pagan customs. This is who Paul was talking about in that passage. That's who that's who he's talking about. That's who he's talking to in Corinthians, Slakia, in general. He's talking to them like, hey, remember, you guys, also you guys, we're the same people who were led out of Egypt by the Most High. We are Israelites. He's talking to those people who were that broken off branch, who was that wild olive tree. So this is why the Most High does not want us to go into strange women. And like I said, even the brethren, even the Israelites in Corinthians, some of them didn't take on strange women. Like Paul, for example. His parents were both Israelites. Both of Paul's parents were Israelites. But guess what? They were wild olive branches. Well, his forefathers that came to Corinthians, they were wild olive branches. Why? Because some of them turned away from the Most High. You know, Slakia. So I'm gonna continue reading this. For surely they will turn you away. Sorry. For surely they will turn away your hearts after their gods. Solomon claved unto these in love. This whole chapter you should read because it talks about the whole thing. And he has 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. See? For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Most High, his power, his Elohim, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after, sorry, I can't pronounce that name, Astoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Son. And Solomon did evil sights he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord as David his father. See, this is why the Most High doesn't want us to go into strange women. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it talks about how King Solomon started to commit sacrifices to these idols and all this stuff. And it gets deep, and this is why the Most High does not want us to take on strange women, or just take on strange women and strange men, because they will turn us away from the Most High. They will turn us away from the Most High. Okay, so anyways, this is talking about that you are an Israelite according to the flesh. I'm gonna go over to Numbers, verse 1 and 18. So it said, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the household of their fathers, according to the numbers of the names of 20 years old and upward, by their polls. So we know that our pedigree is determined by our fathers. Our paternal lineage determines who we are. And Native Americans are Israelites. So Hispanics or anybody who has Native American heritage that goes back to Native Americans, you are most likely an Israelite because they were Israelites. I showed you, brother, that they kept the commandments of the Most High. I'm not saying that all of them did, because look at all of us as African Americans. We're not all keeping the commandments of the Most High, but they were Israelites. I showed you, anyone who watched my video, that they wore the fringes, they wore the ribbon of blue on their borders, just like the Most High commanded us to. So you saying that they're not Israelite, that's not good, Ak. That's not good. I don't know how your heart is. I can't judge you on that. But I showed you, Ak, that they are Israelites. So anyways, I want to go over, because I want to go back. Let me go back to your comment. I want to read your comment. So yeah, basically you're saying that, you know, bastardized Israelites cannot be saved. And you're saying that, yeah, you're basically saying that they cannot be saved. And that's not true, because I'm going to go to the wild olive branch. So I'm going to pull up Romans chapter 11, verse 20. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm saying that you become bastardized, or you become a Gentile, or you become that wild olive tree, not because, and you become that broken off branch that becomes that wild olive tree. You become that not because of racially mixing. You become that when you turn away from the Most High. It has nothing to do with you taking on strange women. We already covered why the Most High doesn't want us to take on strange women, because they will turn us away from Him. Okay? And yes, a lot of Latinos are turned away from the Most High, just like a lot of Negroes are turned away from the Most High. Yes, they became that wild olive branch. The Latinos who do not know the Most High, who do not have a real relationship with the Most High, keeping the will of the Father, they are wild olive branches. They are the broken off branches that this scripture is referring to, but it's also referring to the Israelites who turned away from the Most High even in the ancient times. So yes, I'm gonna break this down for you. So anyways, it says, well, because of unbelief they were broken off. We know that the northern kingdoms, remember, I should have pulled the scripture up, but remember, they got to the point to where they was like, okay, we're just gonna leave because we want to keep worshiping idols. We know that we fucked up, so we're just gonna leave. We know they were taken off basically by the king of Assyria, and they didn't come back. Okay, but this is even for the Israelites who, you know, who went to Corinthian, who went to different countries and took on idolatry and took on the way of the pagans, the cultures of the pagan. This is talking about them, and it's even talking to us this very day. It's talking about us this very day. So it says, well, because of the unbelief they were broken off, and thou sayest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. For if Yahweh spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of the Most High, of them which fell, severity, and he's talking about the people who basically turned away from the Most High, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou shalt, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shalt be cut off. So if you don't continue keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, keeping the will of the Father, you know, the faith, keeping the faith in the good works that Yahweh Shai, he did when he was on the earth, and you know, all of that, if you do not keep that, you will be cut off, period. When you turn away from the Most High, you will be cut off, point blank, period. So, like I said, this is referring to even brothers today. You know, the black person, the African American person that you don't know, that you know, that is not following after the Most High, they are cut off. So, verse 23, Romans 11, verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. That's a very important part right there. So those people who believe in the Most High, we're talking about the broken branch that was broken off of Israel, because that olive tree is talking about Israel. Me and you, we know that, but a lot of these people coming from Christian churches, they don't even know that that the olive branch is talking about Israel, and the broken off branch is talking about the Israelites who turned away from the Most High. So right here, what it's saying in verse 23 is that, and they also, if they abide not still in unbelief. So if they turn away from disbelief and they start believing in the Most High again, they keep the will of the Father, shall be grafted in. They shall be brought back in. Point blank, period. So with you saying that, you know, that they were bastardized by mixing with all these other women, even if you believe that they become bastardized that way, beyond repair, because you basically said something like that they were basically beyond repair, and I'll go back and read what your comment, what you said. Like I was saying, that's not scriptural. That's not scriptural. That I'm gonna, let me go back to the comment real quick. Let me go this over. Go back to the comment, your original comment. Let me see. I don't know if it's your first comment or what. Okay, here it goes right here. If Hispanics and Native Americans were Israelites of Israelite descent and were originally Negroid, then they have been bastardized to the point of no return. They have become a degenerate vine. That's not true, Ak. We see right here in Romans chapter 11 that because we know that they are Israelites. We know that if your forefather Israelites, you're Israelite, which majority of Native Americans were. And we read right here that if you turn back to the Most High, you keep His will, that you can be grafted back in. This is why I was saying that that's not scripturally accurate. That's why I said before that, but that's not biblical. That's why I was saying that that's not biblical. I can't find it anywhere in the Bible where it says that if Yasha Allah becomes bastardized, I guess by mixing is what you were saying, that they are beyond repair, that they cannot be grafted back in. But right here in Romans 11, it says that if they turn back to the Most High, that they can be grafted back in. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna read verse 23 over again. It says, and they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For God is able to graft them in again. For the Most High is able to graft them in again. So He's able to bring them back in. It's all up to the Most High. It's all up to the Most High. For if thou were cut off of the wild olive tree, which is wild by nature, and weren't grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree. The wild olive tree is talking about the Israelites who went away from the Most High. The good olive tree is talking about the Israelites who know that they're Israelites and are keeping the will of the Father. How much more shall these, which be natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I will not turn... Sorry. I am so dyslexic. For I will not, brethren, that ye should not be ignorant of this mystery, least should you be wise in your own conceits, that blindness is part of... Okay, so that's basically it right there. So basically, what was broken down right here is that the wild olive trees can be grafted back in. The wild branches can be grafted back in. That Israelites can be grafted back in. But see, what I think your main problem is that you don't think that the Native Americans are Israelites. And I already proved in another video that Native Americans are Israelites, just with a little bit. Like, that's not even a lot. You know, not only did they keep the commandments, they spoke Hebrew, they spoke Paleo Hebrew. They wore fringes and a ribbon of blue on their borders. They kept the commandments of the Most High. Not all of them, because remember, if they were over here keeping the commandments of the Most High and they were living righteously, they wouldn't have been invaded and killed. So yeah, they were getting into idolatry and all this other bullshit over here. Don't get me wrong. But that's us as Israel. Remember, we are a stiff-necked people. We are a rebellious people by nature. By nature. So, of course, they were over here doing other crazy shit too. But some of them were keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Okay? So, sorry. Anyways, now I'm back from coughing, so I need to drink my water. So, anyways, that's all I have to say, is that, you know, we do not become bastardized by mixing with strange women. We become bastardized when turning away from the Most High. Okay? So, anyways, that's all I have to say. I want to say Shalom. Most High bless. And Kwame